All right. We are We are live once again on another beautiful Monday. I think I did this right. I'm not really sure. So before I did this, I thought there was okay. Video links here for a second. Probably shouldn't have did this beforehand, but what the hell. There's got to be an easier way to set these things up before time. I tried doing a timed chat before, but for some reason, I had everything set up, but when the chat was ready to go, it just didn't record anything. I had it on a scheduled chat. Make sure my mic's on. Time came and went, nothing happened, then I had to redo a whole new one. So I figured just do that. All right, that works. All right, maybe I'll just give this another maybe 2 minutes. See if anybody shows up in chat. That way I'm just not talking to myself the whole time. I'll move this over a little bit. You don't see that cat tree. I really hope no one can hear my neighbor right now. He's outside mowing his grass. Oh, he stopped. Yes. Did I do that? I might have. It's like almost 100 degrees outside, and this dude's mowing his grass. I love it. I give it just another minute, see if anybody shows up. If not, I'm just gonna start yammering. I don't know what that noise was. Okay, so do another live stream. Nobody really in chat, so I think I'll just make this a short one then. How's everyone doing? It's a great way to start a chat, isn't it? How's everybody doing? Ain't no one here. Just talking to myself again like I always do, 24/7. Am I right, folks? I know I was going to do a chat a week before, but I was kind of preoccupied. I had been on vacation, then I came back, and I was going to do one after I got back. Then I just decided not to, being lazy. But probably one of the main focuses of this right now is there was going to be an actual new episode of Abandoned Exploration, like I've been promising for the last 2 months. Well, that went to shit. There seems to be some kind of trend to my videos where I say I'm going to do something, I go to do it, said thing doesn't happen because of other said thing, and then I'm back at square one again. It's probably why my channel hasn't blown up at all. But basically, for this episode of Abandoned Exploration that I wanted to do, I was going out to a place in Senecaville, Ohio, called the Witch's Hat House, which is an abandoned house in the middle of nowhere where people believe a witch lived, because the majority, or not the majority, what am I saying? Part of the house looks like a witch's hat. I'll share a link in the chat with it. Part of my nose getting kind of a allergies going. Share this in the chat, and you can actually see. Now, these pictures are not mine. These are somebody else who went there. For the last couple of years, people just go there, take pictures. A lot of them think the place is haunted, like they'll see lights and hear noises and whatnot. But nothing has ever actually been confirmed. People just think it's probably haunted because of the front of the house looks like a witch's hat, so it's got to be spooky, right? It's got to be spooky. But really, that's just the design of the house. It's a Victoria era house. It was probably built anywhere in between 1837 and 1901, so it's going to have that look to it. In fact, there's actually a lot of houses around here that have that look. This one just seems to be very closer, and it's actually when you go and find it, it's hidden very well, because I drove by the damn thing 5 times and I didn't even realize it. I had to get help from a friend to actually find it. And I'm like, dude, there's nothing but a fucking forest right here. Where's the damn house? And he's like, look up there. And you could see the very top of the house sticking out of the trees. I guess it gets all overgrown within the summer and spring. So it's like, oh, well, I'll be damned. But that wasn't the reason why we didn't do a video of it. It turns out that a couple other groups, paranormal groups, beat us to the punch and kind of ruined it for everyone else. When you got to the house, there were dozens of signs all over it saying, no trespassing. And I guess there's at least 3 other houses that are right next to it, and you can't really see it, but they can see you. So there are neighbors constantly watching the house. So that kind of just killed the mood. In fact, we were parked for maybe not even 5 minutes, and some dude in a pickup truck just came creeping down the road, just kind of stopped, looked at us, went back up the road again. So I know where the hell that was going. I've seen that look before. The whole, "What the hell are you doing here?" kind of look. So maybe I took like 1 or 2 pictures. Vic was able to get in there and get close enough to the house and take a couple of pictures of the outside. We didn't go inside. The inside is actually from the pictures you'll see in that link. The house is very dilapidated and very dangerous to go inside. So that's why they have all these signs on it now. and they're keeping an extra check on it, so that just ruins everything for me. So now I gotta find another place to do. I did learn of a couple of ghost towns near me, so maybe I'll try that next week or so. I've never really been to a ghost town before. Sounds spooky, but it just kind of goes to show that how how to word this right. More of paranormal investigating. Well, not paranormal investigating, but more like I don't want to say ghost hunting because I hate that term. I really do. But technically, we're going out. We're looking. We're looking for things. We're not being called anywhere. We're looking, for these abandoned houses and everything that people say is haunted. But groups have already been there and they basically already ramshackled the place. I mean, I call it maybe like paranormal gold mining. So it's like someone already hit the place, but they've done it in such a way where they fucked everything up for everyone else. Like no one else can enjoy it because some asshole had to go in the house, take pictures, and break shit. All while the neighbors were watching, and they probably didn't even realize it. Now, I'm not saying the link that I sent you, that guy did that. He didn't. There was actually another video I watched maybe about a few months ago, and it kind of got me revved back up of getting off my ass and trying to find this place. They did their video. They were seeing lights on the outside, and they got inside of the house, and they were tramping around, and so I just kind of put it. You can tell I'm kind of depressed about this. I mean, it was something I was really looking forward to. I wasted time getting to it, and then finding out, someone else was already there, and they ruined it for everyone else. I guess what the hell can you do? But I did learn a couple of interesting things about it. You could basically search this thing up, Senecaville, Ohio, which is Hat House. There's tons of other pictures and things that people have on it. One thing a lot of people don't have is any information whatsoever. Nobody knows anything about the house. Looking on the inside, you could tell the decor is really, really old. I'm going to say maybe late 70s, maybe early 80s. I mean, like a lot of that wallpaper and stuff is just horrendous. And the backsplash to like the kitchen. And yeah, I know about stuff like that. It's depressing. Sorry. I did not mean to do that. Guess why? Don't call it my nose is dummy. What was I talking about? Yeah, like a lot of the decor and everything on the inside of the house, you could tell was pretty much dated. So I tried to get everything together to try and maybe decide like when somebody lived in this place, when they left on my own, but that didn't work. But luckily, my friend, his sister-in-law is a big exploration nut, so she was able. So she already knew information, and they shared it with us. It turns out this house was owned by the same family for close to 80 years, and before the house was abandoned, it used to be a bed and breakfast, and I guess they were going to fix it up, and then right there, and that's all the information. And you could see, sorry folks, on some of these pictures, let me open this link here. Let's see, I think it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. Okay, you can see on like the 9th picture of the bathroom area. There's a broken toilet and stuff all on the floor. That's the upper bathroom. And there was actually another room I thought he wrote it on here, but it might be on another website. That that there was that there was an adjacent room with a oh, here it is. There's another picture that he says the front section of the house. There's a room upstairs that had a lot of plywood in it, so you could tell that they were probably trying to fix something up, but everything just kind of fell through. Would have been really neat to get inside and see it, but shit. So maybe next. Sorry, I have to play with things I find on my desk. Maybe our next abandoned exploration will be a little bit better. Maybe something that no one's ever seen before. It'd be nice. So that downer news is over with. What else? Let's see. Share this video right here with you. This is the best video that I could find. It's actually a news report about the other day in China where there was a storm and it sucked a lot of sea life out of the water and like made it rain everywhere. I know it's not paranormal, but this kind of news is just kind of neat to listen to, because I've heard of it before on like the West Coast, things like that happening, or basically it's just raining octopuses and other sea life. And first, people don't know why, but it's really because of a really bad storm they had, water spouts and things just sucking the ocean life right out of the water and then making it rain all over their city. It's just really cool. I remember there was something like that in Seattle. God, not Seattle. Maybe in the Washington area. Maybe in the early 90s, mid 80s. Because I vaguely remember the news story, and it had to do with jellyfish. Jellyfish were raining from the sky, and it had something to do with a storm off of the coast. And after seeing something like that, it's like, oh, why is it raining fish? Like, well, nobody knows first, but then you read the article and get all the information about it, and it's just a really cool thing that goes with the weather. And weather could be spooky. It was spooky this weekend, tornadoes and shit. But I don't know, I just thought that was a neat little article to talk about. But I talk about it more if there's more people in the chat. There's nobody in the chat though. Well, it was actually a lot shorter than I thought it would be. Yeah, I was kind of hoping for a big chat this time. I kind of threw it out everywhere very early this time, not the last minute, but maybe next time I should try this on Google Hangouts. See if that does anything different. Other than that, I mean, with the whole PSI crew and everything, we're just kind of day by day. I'm still kicking myself over this fucking witch's house. It's like, man, you get there, you set up your cameras and everything, you're getting ready to take pictures, shoot video, and it's just like, well, that's over with. Oh Lord. Ooh, so something I could talk about. On a very lighter note. See if I can pull up. Well, maybe that's not important to pull up. Say about a few months back, I made a Facebook post ranting about something. in my city, a biker was killed about a year ago. He was driving home drunk. He went over an embankment and he crashed. His body laid there all weekend. Nobody found him until they did find him. And what they did was they erected a memorial for him. It was a big purple cross with flowers and his name on it. And for the last I don't know, 2 years, it was fine. You know, nobody bothered with it. It just sat there on the side of the road until was it the Freedom of Religion Foundation? I think that was the name of it. They somehow found out about it and they raised a big fucking stink about it. They were contacting the mayor of Cambridge, Tom Moore, to please remove it because it was on state property and they didn't like it. Now, I'll give props to him because the mayor basically read it and it just dismissed it of like, who gives a shit? It's just a damn cross. It ain't hurting nobody. But these motherfuckers, I mean, I understand what it is to be atheist and things like that. You know, your own beliefs are your own beliefs. If you don't believe in God, that's cool. You believe in God, that's cool. Just don't shove it down my throat either which way. And guess what? These dudes from Freedom of Religion are no different than the friggin' holy rollers that shove religion down your throat because they're shoving their non-religion down your throat and they want to make sure of it. They want to wipe everything off. If that came out right. But it's like, you know, dude, it's not hurting anybody. But apparently these guys, this Freedom of Religion group who have no members in the city found this memorial and were very deeply offended by it. Wrote letters to the mayor and, you know, the mayor just said bullshit to it. But I guess something came from the governor and they finally had to take it down. Now they pulled the memorial out of the ground and they brought it back to the family. So imagine this. You have somebody who died recently, someone you loved in your family. Okay, probably maybe a good oh, fuck you and your lawnmower. Maybe a good example would be like maybe somebody you know died on the interstate, you know, their car or something, and the only thing you have left of them is that memorial, that you know those flowers or a little tiny cross or something. And somebody comes along, they take that cross out and they give it back to you and go, here, do whatever with it. Just don't put it out here. That's pretty fucking devastating. I mean, I have a hard time believing in God and things like that too. But, you know, I'm not going to be an asshole about it to other people. So, for a while now, this fella's memorial was brought back to his family now. Oh my God. I really hope my microphone didn't pick any of that up. Kind of killed my train of thought. Anyway. So they brought the memorial back to the man's family. Now, mind you, when he passed away, I believe he was in his early 40s, so his mother is pretty old. So imagine his mother seeing the city come to her door holding the gigantic cross. And this thing is big too. This thing is probably about the size of a person. Giving it back to her. That's pretty fucked up. And it was like that for a while. So they gave it back to her. She didn't know what to do with it. And of course, Facebook blew up with that shit. They stated that the city just threw it in the yard and said, which that didn't happen. She actually got on there and explained that she didn't know what to do with the cross, so she had them lay it down in her yard. When you know, you know how Facebook is. And other people see stupid shit and they just jump to conclusions. But so it's been like that for a while. But last week I drove by the site of where the accident happened, and lo and behold, the cross is back. It turns out that the part of the property that the cross was on was not owned by the city. It was public, which this freedom of religion group couldn't do a goddamn thing about it, because they were more pissed off that it was on city property and not public. So chalk that up for a win. In fact, it is in a different position, so probably the way it goes, because I know sometimes city lines and things can be really weird looking. So you go off this one street, and it's just a hill off to the side. It was more facing the street, but now it's like more probably off toward like how this wall is, which is good because it kind of just shoves it right up their ass. I mean, like I said, I have trouble with religion and things like that, but I'm not going to be an asshole about it. I mean, I think that's what it is. What it really is. Sorry. I think that's what it really is. What it really boils down to is that people are just fucking miserable and they just want to make everyone else as miserable, as they are. I mean, look I mean, look at that. Look at video games. Look at music, TV, or pop culture. It's like, look at our holidays. It's like everybody has to find something to fucking piss and moan about. And at the end of the day, is it really worth it? No, it's not. I used to piss and moan about things, and then I realized nothing would happen, so I just gave up. Now, I don't really believe in God, but I do kind of believe in ghosts. I know that's kind of a weird thing to say, but I'm not usually very open about my religious beliefs. I mean, I walk around in the dark with a flashlight and a meter, hoping something weird will happen. So just taking a religious. I can't talk today. A religious preference from me would be kind of weird. I mean, I think at the end of the day, when we die, something happens to our bodies. We don't know what. No one knows. Religion doesn't know. Science doesn't know. Nobody knows what happens when we die. Nobody. That's the great thing about death. Nobody knows what happens. And they can write as many books as they want. Nobody fucking knows. But something happens. Something does happen, and we just don't know what. Now, what I believe, compared to what happens or not, I don't know. I believe our energy just moves on to a different place. I mean, think of it as more of like an evolution, like a higher mind, or a higher. I can't talk today. Basically, just a higher state of being. We just leave this fleshy body behind, and we just become maybe better. I don't know. But then you got to explain why ghosts exist, poltergeists, UFOs, and all that other shit. So it's like, one thing at a time. But having the idea of a big invisible man in the sky watching everything you do, that's kind of hard to believe. A little bit. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think the power of prayer is actually very good. It's very strong. I mean, I don't think of it as a religious connection, but more of a mental state. I mean, there are practices and things you can do with your mind. If say if one person believes something, the other person believes it, another person believes it, it starts to become true. It's just that mentality. So you get a group of like 100+ people all praying about the same thing to get little Timmy's leg healed. I don't know. There's just something mysterious about that, which I don't think God has. Excuse me. I think God's trying to kill me right now for being a non-believer. Nice try, God. 2-0, motherfucker. Oh, jeez. But what I mean is, you have probably 100+ people praying for something, and it's just that mentality, that thought process, kind of makes it happen. Like there's something there. You really can't put your finger on it, but there's something there about over 100 people all meditating or praying at once, and it just does something. Like I said, I don't think it's related to God in any way. I think it's more of human mentality. Maybe even a psychic phenomena. Well, all we know. I mean, there's a saying out there: if you think it could be true. If I said that right. Knowing me, I don't research my quotes. I just say shit that's on my mind. But no, I believe the human mind is a very powerful weapon, and prayer or meditation and things like that just bring it like to that Zen level of something happening. Sorry, I thought that was my cat. But otherwise, of a just big invisible man going, "No more cancer for you, Timmy." I don't think that's true. Oh God, I just did that on a live stream. So it happens when I get bored, and I have nobody in the chat to talk to. I have to talk to myself and make myself think things that should never be thought. Cancer for you, Billy. No cancer for you, little Susie. That's how it works. But I tell you what, simple answer for everything. Answer to God, no God. I tell you what, this is how we do it. If there's no God, all right, no sweat off my balls. It's cool. Now, if there is a God, we die, just be like, hey, listen, may not seem like it, but I believed in you this whole time. Just kind of get on his good side, you know? Or another random quote I heard once in my life, and I can't remember what it's from. I had a very weird religious channel on my radio one day in my car, and I just thought just decided to leave it to listen to the bullshit, because some of this stuff is pretty funny to listen to. There's a really hilarious radio station that does these little skits or stories over the radio about religion, and it's completely screwed up. Like how, good example, this woman and her friend, her husband, and their other couple friends all go out to a cabin, and the wife starts to have thoughts about leaving her husband because he drinks, he's abusive, and doesn't do anything. But because these thoughts she's having, it's like, no, you have to stay with him. It's terrible to think that you want to leave your husband. That's just not right. Like, I'm pretty sure these things were written in like the 40s. I just sitting in my car and I was like, oh my God. But he hit me last night. You can't get a divorce. It's a sacred bond. You have to put your heart into your marriage. You're not loving him enough. But he hits me. You're not loving him enough. He broke my arm. You have to understand him. Like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? Oh, I'm getting off topic again. It's just hilarious. What makes it even better is sometimes they get like child actors or to like do their stories too, and it's even hilarious. Like, Billy, you didn't color this picture green. I don't care. Green's a stupid color. That's not how it works, Billy. You gotta color it the right color, or else you're not on the right path, or some stupid shit. And then at the end, little Billy has like an epiphany of like, I had to color it green because God loves me, and I'll go to hell if I don't. I wish I knew the names of these fucking programs. Only I can find shit like this for some reason. But get back on track here. What I really wanted to say was one day I heard a religious program on my radio, and for some reason I didn't change the channel. I just kind of went with it because I wanted to hear how stupid it was. It was a preacher in California or something like that, and he brought up a very good point. He goes, hang on, I gotta think here for a minute. This is a good one. Make sure I don't screw this up. How did he put this? It doesn't matter how much you pray, or something to that extent. Made an example of that. There's two types of people. One guy named Joe, one woman named Marianne. They both work. They both do their thing. Every Sunday they go to church. Wait, did I say Joe? Yeah, I said Joe. So Joe goes to church, he sits in a pew, and he just sits there. And Marianne goes to church, and she's the one hollering and screaming like a fucking lunatic. But then everyone belittles Joe because he's not rolling on the floor and throwing his arms up in the sky too. But it just goes to show that no matter what you do, God doesn't care. He doesn't care if you're just sitting there. He doesn't care if you're throwing your hands in the air, like you just don't care, or rolling on the floor. It's just do what you got to do when you want to believe. And don't listen to all these other idiots out there screaming and hollering. So, like, I heard that, and I was kind of like, that's not a bad thing to say. Usually, preachers like that, they're just gonna jump down your throat and say you're not praying hard enough. You're gonna go to hell. And he's more like, these people are fucking lunatics. Oh man, this is a very confusing live stream I'm doing now. I don't believe in God, but I'm talking about God because God is this. Oh my! Maybe I should just talk about my political views. That'd give me a lot of views on YouTube, wouldn't it? Let me talk about these emails. We'll go to China. No, I better not do that. That's like a death wish. Oh Lord, see, I'm doing it. All this talk about God, it's making me say that. You know, if there was a God, he would smite my fucking neighbor for mowing the grass while I'm doing a live stream. It's like 97 degrees outside. We have a heat advisory. Old people shouldn't be out in the heat. You're fucking mowing your grass. Get a heat stroke. I really don't hope he gets a heat stroke. That's kind of mean, but still, Dick. I really hope none of that made it on the microphone. Hey, people retire. They got to do something with their free time, I guess. All right. Well, I've had the stream on for over half an hour, so I think I'm just going to end it here since there's really nobody else. Nobody in chat, so we can't do any chat questions or anything, which would be kind of fun. Had people in chat. Right, chat? Okay, I run this out to 41 minutes. I like that. That's a nice even number, 41 minutes. Oh, well, thanks for anyone who watched this video. I'm going to try doing more of these live. What I'm going to do is try and do more of these live streams every other week. So next week won't be one, but the following Monday will be one. So maybe getting that message out, everyone will be able to chat more, spooky chat. All right. Well, see you guys on the other side. Oh, I did not just say that. What the hell's wrong with me?